If you knew spending more time with your kids would have a positive effect on their mental and physical health, wouldn't you spend more time at the dinner table or watch more movies together, read more books? Well, joining me now is Dr. Pradeep Gidwani to explain how these simple activities can actually have a major impact on your child's behavior. Welcome back to Primetime.
Thank you, Taylor. Great to be back.
I think that behavior, not only behavior, but cognitive development too, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It really is interesting. It starts very early in life. That connection the kids feel really makes a big difference. And this happens when they're babies, but you need to keep with it through their whole lives. Dinner table is one of the best places for time as a family. You get to talk about the day, you get to connect with each other, and it's that connection that kids need. It's not just a nice to have, it's something we have to have.
It's funny because I watch some families, how they're in the hustle bustle of life and the parents are disconnected. The kids will learn to disconnect as well.
Absolutely.
Have you seen, and that's shocking to me. And then you got to retrain their brains to be connected again.
Well,
but you don't want to lose that connection to begin with.
Right. We all see the families that text one another at this dinner table.
I can't even imagine. Can't even imagine. Jeez.
And, you know, we've talked about this in the past, the beauty of reading stories to your kids, even just telling stories. They just want that connection. And with that connection, then they have a sense of belonging. And that sense of belonging makes them less anxious. Then they have more space to learn. And as a parent, if you can play with your kids, kids learn through play.
Yeah.
And if you can actually play with your kids, the kids enjoy that. It also allows you to get out of the parent role when you play a board game. Obviously, you don't want them to cheat.
Yeah.
And you have to enforce the rules, but you get to be at their level. And there's times that it's great to let them direct things. And it's in that time of play. And I can't even tell you the amazing stories we have about kids playing. Even when there's something difficult, they'll use play to process it.
Isn't that funny? You're right about that.
They're amazing. They're amazing.
I love that. I'm sitting there going, boy, I got to get in those board games. But I do love the reading too, because not only that's such a bonding time, but they're learning. They're learning how to read. They're learning new words. If there's so many other variables that are so constructive to their cognitive development when you are in that reading time.
Oh, absolutely. You're enriching their word environment, and we know that people who have more words have more options later in life. And so, yes, it does help their cognitive function. And also they're learning how to go past what they're capable of. So even when your kids are older, if you can still read to them, they're going to skip words that they don't know. But if you're reading to them, they'll pick up words that are bigger, and it'll expand their vocabulary quicker, and they just become more and more comfortable with language. And we need language for everything we do. And it's just such an important piece, that time that you invest with your kids, where you're really connected, where you're there, you really help your child in so many ways.
Give us some examples of other bonding times that are important, because we discussed mealtime and reading, maybe watching a movie together, but then you're watching something, you're not really bonding with one another. What are some other activities parents could do? Well,
let's take the example of a movie or a TV show. It's different if you're sitting there and you're just watching it, and then at the end of it, everybody gets up and leaves. It's different if you're sharing stories with that. You're teaching from the show, and you can add to the any story by highlighting things for the kids. So you can still use that. For me, breakfast time, dinner time, those are great times. Those are ways to set the day. Those are ways to touch base and reconnect. Bedtime. Bedtime is a big time for kids. But setting up the rituals, any ritual or routine really helps kids, because the routines really help kids feel stable. So it's simple things. It's teaching them how to ride a bike. It's teaching them a new game, teaching them a new skill, encouraging them when they want to quit, when they're a little bit afraid. That's the time that you're there, and you're just that warm hand. You're really that hug that's holding them in that time when they're trying something new.
And I really feel like if they have that foundation as a child, sky's the limit as an adult.
Absolutely.
Because that foundation, to build that confidence, that self-esteem, the security is essential.
Well, and you're so right about that, and it starts so early. We used to think that babies were just little, and they would, you know, they could just sit there. But when you interact and you really watch babies, they really draw you in, and that attachment that they have to you, and their needs being met allows them to really expand. Later in life, you'll see them actually go from you to explore the world and come back. And they're so excited to tell you what happened, what they saw, and whatever age they are, even when they're just little and they're just getting mobile, they go and they come back and they're so excited. And if you are excited when they return, it just keeps building that feedback loop. And that bonding and attachment early in life is so critical to kids doing well for a long time.
You know, I'm going to add some of my tips for
Absolutely.
parents. What I like to incorporate stuff, because as a busy mom, and I'm sure a lot of your viewers are very busy as well, parents, a lot of work, both parents work in a lot of homes, whether
absolutely.
you're single or not.
Absolutely.
I take my kids on hikes. We take the dog on
Absolutely.
long walks, runs. We got bicycles, and we're now riding our bike down to the beach, which is a long bike ride, right? I've invested in activities that we can do together as a family that weren't getting exercise,
Absolutely.
and we're outdoors, and we're just being healthy.
That's
Cooking together.
those are all
Right.
great things.
Yeah.
Cooking together is so much fun.
Yeah.
Exercise is so great because it's putting those healthy habits in.
Yeah.
And the beauty of it is in that all of those activities, you're creating memories. You're
Yeah.
creating those layers and layers of strength that
Yeah.
when there's a bad time, your kids are going to remember that time they went on a hike with you. They're going to remember that time when they were tired and you encouraged them.
Yeah.
They're going to have you there on their shoulder helping them for the rest of their lives.
I'm going to remember the time they talked me to go swimming in the ocean. It's cold, and I didn't want to do it, but I did it to make them happy.
Right, and they
And I hope they remember that.
and they're going to remember mom is always game for trying things.
Well, mostly I always do. I'm not going to lie. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you so much for those valuable tips.
Thank you.